In the name of the living Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. This morning, I greet you in the mighty name of the living Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I am Apostle Shada Mishe, and this morning, I would love to talk about HIV prevention. The world has moved on to prevention of AIDS. While this is good, this is honorable, this is pleasing, this is a great move. One question: what about those of us who have already been infected, which is 30, 40, 50 million of us? A second group of us that nobody seems to think about is the group that does not yet know that it is infected. So you're in between periods of time, which is known as the seroconversion period, because you have not yet started being sick, neither have you yet been tested. So we are up to now prevention. What about those people? And what about those people who have been in contact with them? There's a law in virology which in summary says, when you have one case that is clinically presented, there are 99 cases coming up. Now, here in America, we have 1.1 million, or we admit to having 1.1 million. That means if that law holds, we're looking at 110 million cases coming up round the corner. Since the virus takes anything from 7 to 14 years to manifest itself into sickness, then I guess we have some time, and we put off the inevitable, kick the can down the road. In our prevention mechanisms, we look at condoms as the holy grail of prevention. But then if one looks at the size of the virus, and one looks at the size of the pores in the condoms, and then there are studies both ways. I'll move on to saliva, and Lord, help me with this one. I'll give you two stories of saliva. The first story is that I went to a synagogue one Saturday morning, and there was a little 5-year-old young man there. We'll call him Ryan. His father, an elderly Jewish man, had only one child, Ryan. He knew that I was a pharmacist, so he came up to me and started talking, saying, Ryan has always been having ear infection. If it's not the left, it's the right. And as soon as they finish one set of the pink medication, it's time to get another. And the Lord said to me, tell him to get a Western blot test done. I said to the Lord, Lord, this is the only child he's got, and I must tell him to get a Western blot test? I love you, but Lord, this one is heavy. Okay. So then before the service was finished, I decided I was going to sneak out of the synagogue and go home. Soon as I got out into the eating area, there was little Ryan. He grabbed onto my leg as if his life depended on it, and he wouldn't let go, having only seen me for the first time. His father said, Ryan has never done this before. So I confessed that yes, the Lord has given me a message for you, sir, and I was about to leave without giving it to you. So this is the message. And I told him what the Lord had said. Another rough story which I had in one of my previous videos is that the Lord showed me a high school in Miami. When he showed me the high school, he said to me, all the kids are HIV positive. This might frighten you. It did frighten me. I said, Lord, are you sure? The Lord said, have I ever told you anything that is not the truth? I said, yes, Lord, you don't tell me anything, but can all of those kids, even those little white kids who were probably about 8 or 9 years old? I said, Lord, those kids not sexually active. Then the Lord took me in the spirit and showed me the eating conveniences and the water fountain and how every other child would suck on the pipes and how they would swap and have each other drink from their same cup because everything would be okay. Now, when we look at the kids and say, well, why aren't the kids getting sick? Kids of growing age have growth hormones, which is an anabolic agent. That's an agent that grows muscles and decrease wasting. So on a young kid, you would not find that kind of revelation in terms of you will not notice it. My heart bleeds for a 22-year-old kid, the only child of a lady in Canada. And she brought the kid to me one day and says, the doctor says he's having a heart attack and he's had heart problems from he was 6 months old. This young man was only 22 years old. Looked at him and the Lord said, this is one of your babies, one with HIV. I said, Lord, how did he get it? So at 22, he says he got it from the mother. And he has had it for 22 years. Now it's time for fruition. But then there are so many of them that can you tell the mother her only son is HIV positive, has AIDS, and is out to die? Alright, so I got brave and I said, okay lady, this is the story. Your kid is HIV positive. I haven't done the test. The Almighty God has shown me that. So I gave him a gallon of ambush. The young man was willing to take it and happy to have had it because I was able to discuss with him some of his sexual escapades of which I was never there. Now, on going home, he told the mother that I said he had AIDS. Mother called me. She yelled and screamed and oh, she gave me the length of her tongue that her son could never have HIV/AIDS. And so she decided she was not going to give him the ambush. I said to her, lady, I have very limited supply, so please give it back to me if you're not going to use it. He says, no, and she threw it down the drain. Not to say, 2 weeks after throwing it down the drain and not giving it to the young man, she buried him. Therefore, I am not joking that this thing is not a joke. Jesus Christ says, men do not light a candle and put it under a bushel. The word light as in light of a candle, means knowledge. Go back to Genesis. There was darkness on the face of the earth. And God said, let there be light. This light is knowledge. When God says, let there be knowledge. The Lord God has given us the knowledge of ambush. Ambush is the cure for HIV and AIDS. And no one lights a candle and put it under a basket, but I am saying what it is for the world to understand. That the Almighty God has now given us ambush, the cure for HIV and AIDS. And yes, I can be found at www.ambushcuresaidsfree.com. I am Apostle Shadamishe at gmail.com. And I thank you for listening. And may the living God bless you. Thank you.